My name is Adi, and this is the much awaited second episode of the coding exercise, or like learn to code, where I get you from the very beginning all the way to, you know, being able to confidently feel like you can make anything on that you can find on the internet. Um, this is the second lesson. The first lesson I actually have to apologize for that, an egregious amount of time explaining, the absolute basics of JavaScript. It ended up being a 3.5 hour lesson, but hey, I stand by the fact that it is a very important lesson, and I didn't really know where best to chop it up, but this one will not be so long. In fact, this one should be a very short lesson. I'd be surprised if it hits an hour. So let me first show you what we're going to be building. Okay. Oh, so we go 1 plus 2 equals 3. Surprise, surprise, we're building a working calculator. I didn't really want to do a whole notes app. I'll leave that for your homework. But for right now, you're going to walk through this with me, and I'm also going to leave you with the code without the scripts. You're going to watch me do it, but I will not be giving you this code. All right? Only thing I'm going to need is this character, because I believe I should be able to get that character from here. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, okay, never mind. I'm deleting it all. But yeah, as you can see, we are able to, do addition, subtraction. You can actually do more than whatever. You know what I mean? You could do more than just one operator at a time. It's going to be a calculator. And that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to stop saying the word calculator, but what we're going to do now is I'm going to say grab everything. I'm going to leave the use strict in there. I'm going to grab everything. We're going to delete it. Press save. In fact, this folder is what you're going to get. Okay? So if I refresh this now, I can click, nothing is happening because I've killed everything that's in the JavaScript file. I'm not teaching HTML. I'm not teaching CSS. Like, the internet is more than filled with those resources. Mine is specifically going to be the JavaScript and other languages. So yeah, first thing we need to do is, well, make sure that the script is here. Import script. Ta-da, nice and easy. So if we go to the console, you see nothing, but if I just say YOLO, save, refresh, YOLO, it's connected. Right? First things we need to do is decide how we're going to go through it. Well, usually, right? I've already gone through this. I already have the idea. I have the code in my head and I've got my notes. But how would you guys go about initially setting up this calculator to work? I'm not going to get a response because it's a live video, but what I can do is something along the lines of setting up the inputs and all the fields, right? How do you access all these items? Let's go. So we start with let input equals document dot is that okay? Query selector. Right? So document.querySelector is how do I call it? It's an API which we have access to inside of the browser. A way you can experiment with this API yourself is here. This is the browser console. I really hope you can't hear all of the outside, but we move, you know? So document dot query selector. What are we looking to query? Well, let's do the input, right? So the first thing is, how do I get the input? I already know what the query selector is, but I want to show you, the viewer, how to get access to it yourselves. So you open up the inspect or the dev icon. For me, I just press F12. I get to the console. I go to elements, and you can navigate to the item, or you can use this button here. Let me just make sure, can I increase the size of this? Yes, I can. Let me make that about that size. Nice, viewable, readable. This button here, go to the element, and it will read out for you real quickly in that little pop-up, the floating box, that it is a div element, input. You can click it, and you also get the item there, and so it will show you the accurate query string selector here at the bottom. So we're looking for input. Well, the ID is, if you know HTML, you can only have all IDs must be unique, so we cannot really have multiple input IDs and have it be valid. So here we're going to go input. It's telling us to use a hash for the ID, and use a full stop for class. IDs are unique, so open quotes, hash, input. And now I'll go through and do that for the rest of the items. So I can close this. I know that that's the input, so let number equals document.querySelector all. The difference between query selector and query selector all is that query selector will return the first item that matches the query, whereas query selector all returns all of them that matches. All right. So for query selector all, to get all the numbers, it's div number div. So the div itself is called numbers, and there's a div inside with no special presence. So I could do div number and then div, but I think the first div doesn't really need to be there. Yeah. And now we have now the operators, we have the input, and we have numbers. So what we need now is let result query selector result, and let clear. Nice. Now let's also create a boolean. If you remember what a boolean is, it is a true or false statement for if the result has been displayed. So for example, if you remember, you do 5 times 8 and you'll get the output there that'll be visible. So let's go let results display false. All right. I will definitely add, no, well, you have access to the video. So now we have access to all these items in here. So if I now open this, oh, sorry, if I reload this, if I go to the console and I say, what am I looking for? Operators. Node list, I have 4 items, 2, 3, 4. You see? If I want numbers, I have all these nodes. All of them. Beautiful. Technically, we even get dot and clear. That's nice. So, with that now, we're going to do something else where I want to add something. I want to show that these items are interactable. But the way this works is you need to create a click handler. So I've clicked it. Now what happens? It's behavior which we need to have programmed, right? So and remember, this is the way we do this with pure JavaScript. One thing that is important as a developer, at least a web developer, is to know sometimes you do not need to go for all the fancy frameworks and the like, because it is definitely overkill, and it does add a load of many times for, you know, multiple situations, unnecessary bloat. So I'm going to create a for loop, right? So you may remember this from before. So for let I 0, and as long as I is less than the length of numbers, you do what is in here, and once it's done, you initialize. So remember, before the loop begins, you check before every loop inserts, and you do this at the end of every loop. Wonderful. So numbers I, because that is how you use a square notation to refer to the index of an array. And remember, I is a number because it's initialized to 0, so I is 0. So now we have the node itself. So once again, numbers 3, that's that number. So what we're going to do is add event listener, and the event we're going to listen to is a click. And when you do click on number 3, which is the 4th element, let's do this. Console.log. Hello everyone. I believe, do I need to do, I don't think I need to do that. So if I do that, hello everyone. So now if I click on, sorry, let's make it more visible. You see, sorry, let me even clear it. If I click it, as you can see, now it does something, but the other ones don't. And why do they not do anything? Because I only did it on the first number, but I want to do this on all of them. So let's do this for all of them. All right, so numbers.I, yeah, numbers.I.add event listener E, well, click function, we use ES6 here. Cool. Here's where we are. So, ooh, let us first storing the current input string, and by input string is, I mean this one here, and the last character. Okay, So we're storing the current input string and the last character of the input string. Let me increase the size of this just to make it more readable for you guys. Sorry, bad streamer. Oh, okay. Let's do this. Nice. What's this? I don't need that open. Cool. Yeah. So we're going to store the value of the input string. And the way we do that is we're going to create a variable. So let current string equals input dot inner HTML. So current string equals input dot inner HTML, and remember input is of the type div. So whatever is inside of div is what will be stored in current string. Okay, so let current string input the letter, and this is an important thing. I think that actually caught that from there. That's so cool. It's cute when it actually tries to do, you know, it does some funny autofill stuff, and it's really nice. I appreciate it. It helps my life go a lot easier, and also tries to keep the video length low, because this is already 16 minutes. Okay, this is not good news. Cool. So also we have this situation of is result displayed. So we have if result is not displayed. Okay, so if result displayed equals false, input dot inner HTML plus equals e dot target dot inner HTML. So what is happening here? If I just save that, okay? So for every number we check, is result displayed? No. If so, the target input.innerHTML, which we already got, is a current string, plus equals e.target.innerHTML. Nice and easy. So what do you believe is going to happen if I refresh this page? Wonderful. You see? Perfect. Obviously, that's not what we want to happen here. We don't want C to be logged. But let's just sort these other options out. So else. Oh, no. You know, else if, I think. Yeah. Else if result displayed equals true. Wait. Let's just do this. If result displayed is true, and we have to, let me do this. I think last char equals, you get, that's what we're going to do now. Plus minus divide multiply, right? That's what we're going to do. So 1 is plus. I have to make sure it's the exact character. Sorry about that. Let me just, because I don't want to come through and debug that. minus multiply or divide. Cool. So what this is now checking is if please take note of the brackets. Okay, so if I save this, so if result is displayed and this is also true, so what is going on here is saying if the last character in here is either plus, minus, multiply or divide, we're going to do something in here. So result is displayed, but we're also doing some other stuff, right? We're going to say result is displayed is now false, and now we can say input.html equals e.target.innerhtml. Wonderful. So now we've got the situations where we are supposed to be, if we're saying result is displayed and we're about to add in multiply, then we can do stuff. Otherwise, we're going to do yeah, so if the display keep on adding, if it's already if the result is currently displayed and the user has pressed an operator, we just keep on adding to the string. And then afterwards, if the result is currently displayed and the user presses a number, we clear. Yeah, so in this situation, we're first going to say result displayed equals false, because you've pressed a number in this situation, right? So we just do input dot inner HTML. We clear it, and then we get this line. Cool. So right now, because we haven't actually done the operators just yet, and we've also not done the enter, result display doesn't really do much. In fact, it's still going to have the same behavior. It's just, once you've planned out software beforehand, you get to a position where you can say, I know what the issue is going to be once I get to this point. But what we do have is this, which is what matters, right? We have this, and that's what matters right now. We've got an event listener where they say we have the click handlers for numbers. So let's add the click handler for the operators, right? Pretty much exactly the same way. It's not going to be input, it's operators, right? What's my time saying? 23 minutes. Okay, interesting. We've got quite a bit to go, but I definitely intend to have this done within an hour. I really aim to have this done in an hour. We're almost getting up to half an hour, but we can do this. Operators I dot add event listener. We know how this goes. Which event listener is it? It's the click event listener, and when we click, we want this to happen. And the reason just so you know, we are passing in the event. It's an event listener, and we're creating a function, and the argument for the function is called E, right? It is an event, and that event is what we're listening into, and we're now taking information. So if you take note, the event, target of the event is the element which we have clicked. So we have the access to the e.target, and then we can say what is the attribute of the target which we're taking advantage of here. Cool. So once you click that, Once again, we can just do the current string and last character. Copy paste. So what we're going to do here is say, first things first is if the last character is an operator, replace it with the new operator. That's what we're going to do first, right? So if oh boy. Yeah. So if the last character is one of those, what we gonna do? Wait, did I get that from here? All right, cool. Yeah. If the last character is one of those, we say let new string equals current string dot substring. Okay. Current string dot substring. Okay. Current string dot substring. You start with 0 and you go current string dot length -1. Concatenate that with e dot target dot inner HTML. Okay. And now we say input dot inner HTML equals new string. That's the very first thing we're doing. We also need to add in the case of just adding that string to it, but you know, there is another one. Else if current string dot length. Oh, whoa, a little too excited there. If the current string length is 0, do nothing. Do nothing. But let's do some affordance. We can just say alert, please enter a number first. Okay. So what has that done? An alert does this. Please enter a number first. So, you know, it's not going to do anything just yet because we have to do the actual use case where you are allowed to enter a number. All right. So the very last thing is else you just add this. So in every other situation, there was an issue with what you could do, but now we're here. Right? We're now here. We can now enter all the numbers. If result is displayed false. Okay, we're about to get the result is displayed true situations, but you know, once we get there, we'll get there first. All right. What time? How am I for time? We're almost at 1:30 and we can enter the values. Okay, we are getting there. We are getting there. We are getting there. You know what? I forgot one. Well, let's rather than say I forgot one, let's get a number click handlers, operator click handlers. Now let's do clear click handler, right? Remember, there's no need to do an array. We have the button right there, right? Clear dot add event listener. We're listening to the click. You know, simple. You know, we just do what do we want it to do. Input dot inner HTML equals that. Nice and easy. So if I refresh, take away this, add that, divide, I said divide by 2. I still don't have this working, but I do have that working. Wonderful, right? Wonderful. Okay, so now we need to deal with the result button, right? Result button. The result button, clear handler. This is where all the real work is going to be. Let me look at the time. Okay, we might actually get this done within 15 minutes. Famous last words, but I think we can do it. I think we can do it. Cool. So, result dot event listener. Click. What we're doing is the following. First, as always, we get this input string equals input dot inner HTML. We have the input string. So this is where it gets a little interesting, right? What we want now is get an array of numbers. Okay? In the input string. Cool. First thing we do is get let numbers equals. He's moving a little quick there. Input string dot split. See? All right. String split. Is this going to be here? Yeah, string prototype split. What it does is it will return an array. Okay, the split method takes a pattern and divides a string into an ordered list of substrings by searching for the pattern, puts these substrings into an array and returns the array. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, const words equals string split by space, right? You want to get words, so every time there's a space, you replace it. You replace it with a new array. So the is a item is 0, 1, 2, 3. Word 3, fox, fox. So if I run it, fox. String dot split. When you do that, it's on every character. All right. So the 8th character 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm here with these. The 8th character. I'm so sorry once again. It takes a while. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. String copy equals string dot split. No entry. It's just copy it entirely, and you get the full string. Wonderful. And that's what I'm going to be using along with something called regex. I will definitely properly explain regex later, but I'm going to explain exactly what I am doing in this example right now. So this is the symbol. This is how you start a regex. You just enter characters and then you do another slash. Okay, that's how JavaScript knows that what is inside here is a regex string. Okay, so what we're actually going to be splitting for in between is going to be the following characters: plus, or, minus, or the multiplication symbol, which is definitely not on my keyboard, and the divide symbol, which is definitely not in my keyboard. So I'm going to copy both of them, put them in here. Cool. Or divide. And divide also needs to be escaped. Cool. So what is going on here? And global, meaning do it as many times as you need to throughout the entirety of the string, because like I showed you before, we can have multiple operators in one string. So you want to not stop on the first one, but stop on all of them, which is why you need the G here. That's the regex thing. We'll definitely come across those later. Please do remember this. And this is a quicker way than splitting them multiple times and doing like a for loop. Regex existed here and made my life easier. And also there are special characters in regex. And because they are special characters, you need to escape them with a backtick. That's fine. All right. So at this point in time, we have the numbers. And now we need to get the operators. Equals input string dot split, and we're going to use regex. No, we're not going to use regex. Well, we are, but we're not going to use a split there. Let's replace all numbers. Right? We're going to replace all numbers first with an empty string and then split everything which is remaining. Right? So we're going to do 0 to 9. So all the characters which exist between 0 to 9, or the dot, and we close it with a G. So what we get should be operators, right? So if I say console.log now, input string, right? Numbers. That's gonna be, you know what? No, we'll do it like this. Yeah. Operators. While yes, it may have been okay, it's always best practice to make sure that your variables do not have the same name as something in a higher scope. Yes, it was scoped in, and in that case, you would have been able to do it. But if you can avoid it, do so. Numbers, operators, and over here we're just going to have a long string of enters, just so that we get to see what exactly happens here. Okay, so console.log, we do 8 times 8, enter. Oh, that's not good. What's going on here? It's not undefined x undefined. It's supposed to replace them with an empty string. Let's try that again. 8 times 8 equals what? I got a string of that, but I don't want a string. I want an array. So I'm going to do a split on every character. So I refresh this and I do this again. So 8 times 8 equals. So I've got all the numbers, I've got all the operators, but let's do a little bit more. Right? 8 times 88 take away 8 plus 74 divided by 8 equals 8 times 88 minus 8 plus 74 divided by 8. Ta-da! Wonderful. So, what are we going to do now? We have all of the, how are we for time? 40. Oh, do I have 5 minutes to do this? Maybe, probably not, but maybe. Cool, we have all the numbers. Let us now go through and do the math. Right, so we do not have brackets in here, so if we do BidMass, we don't need to worry about that. There are, how's it go? Brackets, order, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. Okay, BODMAS time. So, BO doesn't matter, you know. Well, I mean, shower every day, but there's no brackets and there's no order, as in powers. So let's go and do let divide equals operators dot index of operators index of, and the operator we're looking for, of course, is this one, right? That is divide. So while divide does not equal minus 1, because if, so basically what we're saying is, as long as they can find a divide symbol there, they'll have an index, so it'll say index 3 for this one. But if it's not there, it'll say index -1, not found. All right, so while divide, the index is not -1, what we need to do now is numbers dot splice divide. We need to take 2 elements out, numbers, and the result which we're going to do. Okay, so what this is doing is, what is the index, how many items we're taking out, and what we're replacing it with. Okay. Divide +1, because it's the item to the right of it. Okay, cool. So from the numbers is done, and now what we need to do is say operators dot splice divide 1, and if we don't, as long as we do not add another value, you know, if we do not add another value, so if you can see here it says item, so we're using the first version, right? So start number, the start index number, delete count, and that's what you do. But you can also, what we did above is add in items which you replace them with. All right, cool. So that's what we have, numbers dot splice, and of course at the end you now do divide equals operators index of that, and we're going to do this for all of them, right? So we grab this, so division, divide, multiply, and the symbol is this one, and the act is this. There you go. divide came before multiply. So to make it smaller came before making it bigger. So next one, subtract. Because really and truly, there is no order between, well, this has an order, this has an order, but division and multiplication do not have order. Addition, subtraction do not have an order, but we'll do addition here because we try to keep life easy, you know, like this. Soft life, soft life, soft life, soft life. Add. We'll do subtract now. Oh, they almost got me. Almost got me there. And this one is subtract. Right? There we go. So now we should have the remainder. Yeah, the last thing here now, at the end of it, the last thing should be, what we should have now is numbers index 0, right? So at the end of this now, if I just say clg console.log, result is, and we can just do numbers, right? And we do result displayed equals true, right? So refresh, we go 7 take away 4 times 3. It's going to be a negative number, right? Oh wait, equals ta-da, minus 5, because 4 times 3, 12, take away 7, 5, there we go, minus 5, sorry, and there you go, result equals minus 5. So that's what we need as the last item. So it's not just that. What we need to do, instead of console log, we should just do input dot inner html equals numbers 0. How long did that take? 48 minutes. 48 minutes. And we've got a working calculator now. You know, you can even clear. Nice, easy. Actually, just one more thing, just here, because I feel that there is some JavaScript nonsense that can occur here. Let me just see if I can. I feel that over here, it should do just in case, because this is scaring me a little bit. Mainly to do with this, when you do add like this in JavaScript, I don't want it to do string concatenation because these are 2 string items, right? When you do plus, you know, like if I say you know, I don't want that to happen. I don't know what happens here if I do 0 plus 4. Yeah, I don't want that to occur. So I'm going to do parse float on them when you do with addition. That's, yeah, JavaScript's fun, isn't it? I believe that's everything. I believe that covers the required items here. So that is how you can create a calculator with pure JavaScript, literally with what I showed you guys in the previous episode, is what you will use to create this calculator. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me on the Discord if you have any questions. With that, I say goodbye.